whenever time I have to do something with Jamaican artists, I have a nightmare. I've produced over 10,000 reggae songs, and I can't call one artist name who ever say thank you, Kemar McGregor. When Nesbeth started making money, and I said, hey, you know what? I think it's time that you can pay me. And he said, he don't remember. Ifrica, she posted something to say, Daddy Don't Touch Me There, was produced because of certain things that she went through when she was young. That's crazy. I'm still alive. Well, that's not true. I could have got a major hit from the Insect Rhythm, the Buju Banton, This Is Jamaica, could have been a major hit if Buju Banton and his team support the record. I have an idea for a record, and I call him in the studio. They're playing land. Yes, they're playing land. Nothing to smile about. I'm the one who actually wrote that with Peter. Gramps was not even in the studio. When it's a look at the Gully side, where it's a Canterbury now with Flanker, Motown, Peter, they don't know about those places. They were not born in Jamaica. Even when I produced the Barry Salmon record, I Surrender, they took it, and it was a big fight. And there was a disagreement with Etana, and we move on. Never again I will ever work with her. I'm not open to really work with reggae artists these days. I want to do something with Snoop Dogg on it, and Kraft, and Beenie Man, Elephant Man, Pampite and a couple others,
From Kingston, Jamaica to CEO of Billboard King Records, his impact goes far beyond rhythms and music. Kemar Flava McGregor is a Billboard charting producer, engineer, and humanitarian whose influence spans reggae and global sounds. His work includes Billboard chart-topping albums such as Sizzla's Speak of Jah 2004, Gyptian's My Name is Gyptian 2006, and I Can Feel Your Pain 2008, as well as Music Soul Child and Selena Johnson's pop reggae album 9 in 2013. Today on the road to success, we're journeying with none other than Kemar Flava McGregor. Flava, good afternoon and welcome.
Good afternoon, Kshema. Good afternoon, IRIE FM. Good afternoon, Jamaica.
Look here, a studio pretty style. No, I absolutely love it. No, first of all, Flava, thank you so much for taking time out to make this happen and, being patient because, we were in talks for a while now, but nothing before the time. So let us kick things off, though, Flava, with your foundation. Take us back to, your early life in Kingston, Montego Bay, and how you got introduced to music.
So it start first of all, right? So it started by Silver Steely, because Steely's from Augusttown, and Steely used to live at my grandmother's house, and was doing music and stuff like that. So I grew up around Steely, which is also a family member and stuff like that. So it started right there, and also in my community in Augusttown, in a place called Angola. It started there by the owner, which is Steve Mendes, of a skating ring, and they have a little sound system there. And I used to go there, I think at the age of maybe like 12, going there and started messing around with music. So that's where it started, right there in Gossamer Villa in Kingston 7, Augusttown.
No, what I also found out by doing a deep dive in your bio, I found out that you, before producing, you did a stint in radio. Talk to us about that radio journey. Kemar Flava McGregor being a DJ, and how did that actually, kind of influence your path into production?
So, moved from Kingston to Montego Bay. I think I was like 15 years old, and started a link with DJ Lippo and
Liquid.
Master Wayne, who was DJ Lippo, is Liquid. Master Wayne, who was DJ Whistle. So we started out in Montego Bay by playing this sound system called In Excess at Pier 1. So that's where it started, and Liquid and Whistle and Bones, of course, who was DJ Bones. Yes, we all were doing music in Montego Bay, and I actually get the name Flava by Liquid, who's DJ Lippo. So he gave me that name because of how I spin and blend music. So credit to DJ Liquid, who was Lippo, my brother. He gave me that name.
So Flavor, no, so here it is. You're working at the radio station. You get the name DJ Flavor, or Flavor from ZJ Liquid. At what point you decided while at the because tell us about your job at the radio station. You were what? You were a DJ there. Well, at what point?
Well, actually, in Montego Bay, I was more like spinning the sound system at Pier One because I and DJ Liquid he actually kind of teach me some of the trick and stuff like that to make remix and stuff like that. So I used to like on the weekend, I think it was the Saturday night house party at 102. I used to go there with them and stuff like that. Me, Lippo, Master Wayne, and Bones, and that's where I kind of learn and get to understand about radio too as well.
Okay, got you. So at what point now on the journey, here it is, you're learning some tricks and stuff from ZJ Liquid. At what point did you decide that you want to transition from being a DJ into a producer?
Oh, so I moved back to Kingston, and when I moved back to Kingston, I was doing radio with Richie B, the party master, and RJR, right? And I used to spin for Richie B, and thanks to Richie B for the opportunity. I used to spin with him on afternoon radio, and I'm so good at mixing record. I was like, you know what? I think I actually want to start making record. I'm so good at mixing it. I want to start. And that's when I went into the studio and I produced my first record. And my first record that I produced was Turbulence Name and Number. That's the first record I produced.
But there is a story behind Name and Number, because initially there was somebody else that you wanted to be a part of the rhythm that didn't happen. Tell us that story and how you used that no into a yes into creating Name and Number that became a big tune.
So the beat, the rhythm itself was created for Sizzler, right? I created that for Sizzler and was trying to get Sizzler to record on it and, keep on getting, Cold Soul and stuff like that. And I saw Turbulence in the lobby of Mixing Lab. At the time, Turbulence was an open artist for Sizzler and Tour. And I said to him, yo, I have a beat, I have an idea for a song, and he said, okay, yeah, well, let's do it. And the rest was history.
It was love at first sight.
So here it is, Flavor. Your very first effort was Name and Number. Would you say this was the song that gave you like your introduction to the music industry as Kemar Flava McGregor, the producer?
Yeah, this is a song that actually give me the break as a producer, and this is a song who actually give Turbulence the break as an artist. So we both, achieved something from this great record.
Now, you also went on to creating a lot of magic with Gyptian. Talk to us about how that connection came about to two Billboard songs.
So
Billboard albums, actually.
Yeah, so it's three albums. So I was working with Prestige at the time, and Prestige was introduced to me by Bigay from IRIE FM, Salute Bigay. And while I was working with Prestige, he said to me, yo, there's an artist from Portmore, he's so good, him name Egyptian. Because a lot of people don't know that his name was Egyptian. And I was like, okay. And then, Prestige bringing by my house at the time.
One second, Flavor. Are you able to turn down your audio a little bit? There is like a little feedback, almost like an echo. If you can just turn down your volume a little bit.
Okay, all right, I did that. Yeah. So as I was saying, Prestige is the one who brought him to my house, because at the time I was doing music production at my house, and his name was Egyptian. And the first record, he did Serious Time before, but that record was off key. and was not produced properly. So I went to the studio, myself, Gyptian, Dean Fraser. I think I've Sly playing the drums, and Bunga Herman and myself was playing keys, and we reproduced Serious Time, and then I produced Mama with him, and from then I was like, you know what? Maybe I should make an album with him, and that's when I started working on the album, with him.
And then from there, No Flavor, we realized that that's when the introduction with Green Sleeves Records and VP Records, what actually led you to, license your music with them initially, and how did that also expand your reach before that relationship got sour?
Well, actually, I, studied music in Germany, and my thing was never to do business with any of these reggae company, because I read a lot about them. I actually get introduced to VP record because of Gyptian, because I was working on an album with Gyptian for Sony Music, and Gyptian end up went behind my back and signed a deal with VP Records. So, and at the time, I didn't want to to get in a fight, with Gyptian or with VP. So my lawyer and my manager at the time said, you know what, let's just have the album go through them. Sony's upset, but let us do the deal, and that's when we restructured the deal, and the album was released to VP. So it wasn't. It's not something that I did want to work with VP, but because of what Gyptian did, why I ended up working with VP Records.
Okay, but and I remember specifically, Flavor, at that time you also had Locks, and you were putting out a lot of music, and then there was a point where it was just radio silence with Kemar Flava McGregor. What happened? Why it appeared that way? I'm not sure if it was around that time you also migrated, but I remember we were getting a lot of hits, a lot of great songs from you, and then everything just went quiet. What happened during those quiet moments?
Well, you know what? Producing so much hit records and showing so much love to these artists, and they show no respect and no loyalty. And I was like, you know what? Why putting in so much work, make so much sacrifice? I mean, I miss so much birthday parties and stuff like that for my kids, right? Just to make sure that these artists also can feed their kids, and also for them to have a better life. And there was no respect. I can't even call one artist name who I've produced over 10,000 reggae songs. And I can't call one artist name who ever say thank you, Kemar McGregor.
Oh, not one. Wow.
No, not one of them.
You serious, or are you just saying that?
No, I mean, listen. This is why I cut my locks, and I was like, most of these artists that I'm producing, these are like Rastafarian artists who preach love, right? And I was like, all I get from these so-called culture Rastafarian artists was hatred. And I was like, I don't want to be, associated with this. And I just cut my locks and said, you know what, I'm just going to do a different thing. But 10,000 record, and I've never gotten thanks, or none of them mentioned my name. I even remember recently when Queen Ifrica, she posted something to say, Daddy Don't Touch Me There, was produced because of certain things that she went through when she was young. And when I saw the post, I was like, that's crazy. I'm still alive. Why would you say the record Daddy Don't Touch Me There produced because your dad or somebody, may mess with you when you're young? That's not true, because I remember when I go to Tony Rebel to say, hey, Tony, I want to make a record with Queen Ifrica, and Tony Rebel was against it. He was like, no, you cannot, I'm not going to have her do this record because her dad is a legendary ska artist. And I said, who's that? And he said, Delroy Morgan. And if she sing the record like that, people is going to feel like she's talking to her dad. And I said, okay, Tony, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to ensure that I shoot the video and not make Queen Ifrica play any form of role in the video, but she will just stand aside and I would get persons to play the dad, etc. And when I saw her post, I was like, that is very disrespectful to use the record, to say,
But let me understand what you're saying. So you're saying Daddy Don't Touch Me Dear is a song that you wrote for Queen Ifrica, or an idea that you brought to Queen Ifrica?
It's an idea, right?
Okay.
It is an idea, right? But I want her to say, Daddy Don't Touch Me There. And he will say, no, she can't do that. Because it will, people will make it will seem like she's talking about her dad. And that's the first time I heard of Delroy Morgan as a legendary ska. And I looked him up and I said, okay, let's meet. And I have all of this. All of this is documented. If you go on YouTube and type it in, you will see that I document this from back in 2007. I documented and where we meet in Tony Rebel office, so we talk about, we're going to shoot the video, etc. Whatever. But I'm just saying that for me to produce such a beautiful song, and this record mean a lot to me because I'm from the ghetto, and I've seen where a lot of time violence and crime plague our community, and when the police, soldier, and the adults in the community to protect the younger ones, they molest them. And so this mean a lot to me. And for her to use that song to say her dad or whatever mess with her, I was not there, but that record was not because of what she stated. And for me, that is like very disrespectful. And it shows you that what I'm saying is correct, that these artists, they don't show respect to producers who respect them and help them along the way. Because for her to say that is like, I'm not exist.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Interesting there, because, there is also a different narrative, which you kind of alluded to. The fact that you mentioned the number 10, saying, 10,000 artists you record and not one would have said to you, thank you. That number 10, you also sued VP Records for $10 million US. Is that lawsuit finalized, or is it still before the court?
Well, this is like the third time I've sued VP Records. Like I've sued them before for my work, and it was very painful, but they understand that I'm not going to back down, and we come to amicable an arrangement, and they violate the settlement agreement twice, and now I'm back in court with them again.
Wow. So you're no stranger to like court battles. I know on the note of court battles as well, Cargo sued you and he was victorious in that lawsuit, I think. Did that situation kind of change how you negotiate with an entertainer? What's that like as it relates to that experience? How do you move forward with doing business?
Let me correct you. Cargo did not sue me. Cargo did not sue me. I actually sued Cargo, right? So I sued Cargo for violating the agreement, and actually, no. Actually, he was, when you sue someone that is broke, and your lawyer advise you against it to say, hey, you're not gonna make any money from this. You know what? Drop the lawsuit and move on. And my lawyers contact Cargo lawyers at the time to say, hey, you know what? This is not going to help nobody or whatever. Let's just solve it. Kemar don't have nothing to do with this. It doesn't worth his time, and etc. And they refuse to accept it. And I just, okay. So therefore, what he got a default judgment. He got a default judgment against the company that was set up to operate our our business at the time that we have. But there was no money in the company. His career was not earning anything, and so therefore the court awarded him a judgment against those entities. So that's what happened. So he didn't sue me. I sue him. There was no money there. I said let's squash it, and he didn't want to squash it. So he just used that to maybe get some buzz in his career. So he went to Jamaica, run to the media and said, oh, I win 800,000, blah, 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 blah. But that was not the case, And at the end of the day, I'm not going to really, really try to disrespect Cog or anything, but I'm just stating what happened. You understand? And I would not. Yeah. He's very talented, and I'm mature and enough, to say if I did something wrong, I did something wrong. But we have a disagreement, and we move on. And me and Cargo talk today. We talk, we text, and if we feel like we want to make a record, we make a record. And in fact, I have a new record going to drop with him too as well. So
With all these experience that you have garnered, real life experiences, Flava, like through the course, what I wanted to also find out is if it influenced how you negotiate and document artist producer agreements today.
What it does to me is like whenever time I have to do something with Jamaican artists, I have a nightmare. I have sleepless nights. Seriously, yeah. I'm not open to really work with reggae artists these days. It doesn't matter how great they are on top of the chart. I have no taste for it. Period. I mean, it's just a few of them that really do good business, and I would salute them because not everybody is the same. Like for Elephant Man. Elephant Man is dope. He's cool. To me, he's very professional. Beenie Man, king of the dancehall, he's one of them. I can say I produced 10,000 records, and no artist ever say thanks or ever say to me, Kemar, here's some water to drink or here's something. Never. And I just started doing some production with Beenie Man, and we did some stuff here in Florida, and it went well. And Beenie did a massive show, and Beenie know I'm okay, but Beenie ensure that I get compensated, so I salute him for that. And, sometimes they said one can make a difference, and Beenie is that difference. So I will salute him for that. He's the only one I can say, thanks, not because, he made me get some money or what like that. I don't need the money. I'm good. But it's just the fact that he did that. Yes, I was like, you know what? At least I can say, one person make a difference, and that to me is like it override a lot of things.
No, Flava, you made a bold statement a while ago as it relates to how you feel about reggae entertainers and not feeling like you want to work with them. Is Etana the exception?
I mean, I said none of them. I just call the names. As I said to you, the ones that I think
you were working with Etana before. I mean, did something happen? Was there a fallout? Because I know Etana, Beenie Man, these are some of the people that were in your circle.
You know what? As I said to you, sometimes you work with people and they don't appreciate what you do for them. And I'm now mature, and I'm not gonna bash anyone anymore. I've vent already online. I've vent and say all what I have to say. But like when there's disagreement, I use my attorney to resolve it. And there was a disagreement with Etana, and I pay her for the record, and she signed an agreement, and we move on. Never again I will ever work with her.
Oh, wow. That is breaking news. Wow.
Never.
So is it then that Flava, moving forward, does this mean that you're going to be working with more dancehall entertainers? And, sometimes as humans as well, when things happen and we are like the main person in the middle of everything, have you done any introspection to look at it to say, is it something that you are doing wrong per se, why you encounter like all of this type of situation?
As I said to you, like for me, I'm more mature. If I do something, I would admit that I'm wrong, and I do soul searching for myself, and I was like, is it I'm the problem, right? And I said no because you know after working with like major label in America and hip hop and R&B artists, and this is what they said to me. Kemar, we love dancehall and we love reggae, but we just don't want to align our brand with it because the people there are very ungrateful and they're selfish and they're
Oh,
not
wow.
professional. So I was like, okay, now I can breathe better. So it's not just me. And if you notice over the years, like hip hop and R&B artists, they're more divert to Africa and even collaborating with soca artists more because of how Jamaican artists do business. So it's not me. It's how they do business. It's just all about them. They don't show respect to the disc jockey, you know, the producer, the media, people who help them, right? And I'm not gonna um be on your program and say to you that producer are not bad, manager are not bad. I'm not gonna say that because you're a bad producer, you're a bad manager. But I can speak for myself that all I've done is just help these people and show them love. And I've speak vocally about it online. And not one of them today can say Kemar's lying. Not one of them. Even even Morgan Heritage, like they didn't show me the respect. Like nothing to smile about. I'm the one who actually wrote that with Peter. Gramps was not even in the studio. When it's a look at the Gully side, where it's a Canterbury now with Flanker, Motown, Peter, they don't know about those places. They were not born in Jamaica. But they don't call my name. They don't say thank you, Kemar. None of them. Nesbeth too, the same thing. I I'm the one who, make Nesbeth, actually get his break in the music industry. And when he get his break and I say, hey Nesbeth, I invest a lot of money into you. You know what he said to me? You don't remember. Everyone know Nesbeth that when Nesbeth started out with Board House and Guns Out and all these songs, I actually have Nesbeth in the studio, kind of like, ensure that he's on key. I started his career, and I've spent a lot of money to Nesbeth, like a lot of marketing and promotion. And when Nesbeth break, and start making money, and I call him up and I say, yo, and I still have the contract. I still have the contract, and I could take him to court, but it's fine. Sometimes you just choose your battles, right? And that's not one I'm gonna take on. But when Nesbeth start making money, and I say, hey, you know what? I think it's time that you can pay me. And he said, he don't remember. Yeah, he said he didn't
Wow.
remember. I have to contact his lawyer. So for me, um, as I said to you, I'm more mature, and I know that karma is something that when karma come at you, it's dangerous. And for me, there's no way I am the problem, and I'm so successful today, and I proudly here on your show can say I have never took anything from none of these artists. All I give them is just my love, right? And I speak about it vocally. And none of my success, sorry to say, but they didn't contribute to it, because as I said, they never call my name, nothing. And you know what? But one thing I know, I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for IRIE FM. My soul rest in peace. He's the one to look at me and say, "Hey, you're gonna be great." My first record was Play on IRIE FM by Big A. I salute you, Big A. Um, Sunshine, yo, Ron Mushet, Bones, Kashim. So my journey started at IRIE FM. And I can imagine like my journey started 23 years ago at IRFM. And today I'm an IRFM actually.
Amazing. You know, hearing you talk and saying that you have given of yourself and, you know, your expertise and money to like a lot of entertainers, and ever so often you'll hear some of the same names that you've called, they would openly credit somebody else. Why is it, do you feel like you don't get that credit or that respect, even though, you know, like you've said, you've been there, you've done the work?
I believe because I'm humble, and most reggae artists they love when a producer sometime or a rough gangster probably link with, you know, crime and stuff like that. And I'm humble. I'm you know, and maybe because of my kindness and my humbleness, they take it for weakness, you know. And even I could say even like Richard Spice when I produce the Plain Land, right? I actually was in New York, and I heard a record by Carlton Livingston. On Jamaica, Cali, coming from center. And when I flew to Jamaica, I was like, "Yo, Richie, I have an idea for a record." And I called him in the studio. The Plain Land, yes, the Plain Land. On Jamaica, Cali, where they get it from?
Big tune.
That is taken from Carlton Livingston. Yeah, that's where it come from. And I don't know, Richard Spice and his team, they took that record and put it on his album, Gideon Boot, and was giving the credit to the late Bobby Digital. You know, so if you look at Richard Spice's album, Mission in Progress, you will see that record. And no one came to me and said, "Hey, Kemar, you know what? We need a record for Richard Spice's album." So it was all disrespectful all across the board from all of them. You know, from all of them. Even when I produced the Barry Salmon record, I Surrender, they took it, you know, and it was a big fight, you know. So as I said to you, I have no appetite to work with artists from Jamaica, just a few of them, especially the culture one, the one that speak love. I'm done with them. You know, there's still some dancehall artists that I respect and I will always work with. As I said to you, Beenie Man, yo, Salute the King, yo, Ellie Dope, Tifa, Ayaktin, Turbulence, you know, Ginger, yo, Chanel Muir, oh, I love her. You know, a couple of them, Craft. There's a couple of them. I think I will take my chance with a few of the dancehall artists, but it's not business as usual. If I'm going to work with them, you'd have to go through my attorney, my whole entire team, because I'm a Jamaican, but I don't do business like a Jamaican.
Wow, Flavor, you have really shared a lot with us, and I think I now have a better understanding of why you move the way you move because of some of what you have experienced. But irrespective of everything we experienced doing a Flavor, remember that you came back hot and heavy the other day with a remake of Dave Kelly's Bug Rhythm, and you call your rhythm the Insect Rhythm, and I see where the rhythm had a whole heap of entertainers on it. What actually propelled you, for said, do a remake of Dave Kelly's rhythm, and why was it so open to so many entertainers on it, despite what you would have experienced?
And if you notice, then it was a dancehall. This is me now saying, oh, you know what? I've get burned by these reggae artists who wear locks and say that they're dealing with love. Let's try some dancehall, because as I said to you, you know, because of Beanie and how we work together and Elephant, that's how I even come up with the idea to like say, okay, I'm going to do some dancehall record because of the respect I get from a few dancehall artists. And I said, I'm going to try it. And even now, I have a lot of international record that I'm working on with so many, you know, big artists, which I include Elephant Man, and Beenie Man and all these massive new projects I'm going to drop with Snoop Dogg, you know, with Kendrick Lamar, with Rick Ross, T.I., Summer Walker. Oh my God, there's so much new records that's coming. And a lot of them is going to be more of a 90s kind of dancehall vibe, you know, because I really think, because we need to go back. We need to go back to our roots. We need to find ourselves as Jamaican musician. We need to understand that trap music is not our culture, right? And I'm not trying to beat down the younger generation who is doing it, right? But someone who make it in the music industry and very successful need to tell them that trap music is hip hop, and hip hop the station in America would not accept trap dancehall as dancehall. It's dead on arrival. It's been going on for what, over 10 years, and up to now, there's nothing. Someone said to me like on an interview, but oh, look at Skilla Bang, look at Shensia, their numbers are great. And I said their numbers are great on the collaboration that she did with Mariah Carey, or they did, but none of these top artists have really great numbers to land them on the pop Billboard chart. The only time they go there is when they do a collab. If you look at iTunes or look at all the DSP worldwide, it's still the Vegas Edzai, it's still the Murder She Wrote, Shaka Demons and Pliers, it's still the Beenie Man Sim Simmer, it's still the Master Griffiths Electric Boogie, it is still the Matt Cobra, it is still our legendary artists. And if you go on Apple Music and you click Modern Dancehall, you know who's there? Sister Nancy Bam Bam, Beenie Man Sim Simmer. So the evidence is there. So I'm saying to young upcoming producers, I mean, you can put your twists and the music do evolve, but if we're going to lose our identity, we're in trouble. And right now, dancehall and reggae is in trouble because we lose our identity and we're now pushing our culture aside, which put all of us on the map and feeding us. We become Americanized when America don't want Jamaica to be Americanized. The world wants us to be Jamaica because of our food, our lifestyle, how we party, and we're moving away from that. Yeah, we're no longer authentic. The music has no substance. After 2 weeks, I don't know how you guys survive as DJs and a radio station in Jamaica. I don't know how you keep up because the music has no substance. I don't know how you guys even manage to play the music because dancehall and reggae is rhythms where multiple artists go on the same beats, and that's how we get hit songs, right? But no, the artists them are so selfish. Like this Alkaline will say, "Oh, I'm not vicing a rhythm if Popcorn on it." This artist will say, "Oh, I'm not vicing a rhythm, if Vibes Cartel on it." So there's so much segregation. There's no unity, and then this is why there's no hit song because we cannot have the great Vibes Cartel, the great Beenie Man, the great Alkaline, Massacre, Bounty Killer, on one beat. We can't have, the Sizzler, the Capitan, the Chronics, blah, 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 and all of them on one beat. We don't have that no more. And therefore, our culture and dancehall is dead. And we kill it. We kill dancehall, we kill reggae.
So was that why you went for Dave Kelly's rhythm, and how did you get it? Because Dave Kelly is like absolutely no face. You just know the name and he's legendary. Did you have to go through a lot of loopholes to get that?
Well, all right. So when you are doing music in Jamaica and doing music in America, it's totally different, right? There's law in America that protect a producer when you do like an interpolation of a record, right? So for instance, I researched and I found Dave Kelly, publisher, and his manager, and I said, hey, I want to redo the bug and blah blah blah. And they said, okay, go ahead, because I have to show respect. Like, I mean, I grew up listening to Dave Kelly, right? And even though there's law, and I can get to that, but because I grew up listening to these legendary producers, I was like, yo, for me, I have to find Dave Kelly, and I find his team, and I say, "Hey, I'm working on this project, and I really want to redo the bug with him." And so when I played, I sent it to them, and I said, "Take a listen to it." And they said, "Well, we like it," and we put together all the splits. I give it to them. We send it over to Sony, and I did a second rhythm for Dave Kelly, and same thing happened. And now, Tony Kelly. I just reached out to Tony Kelly and I said, hey, Tony, I like this beat you create. I want to do something with Snoop Dogg on it, and Kraft and Beenie Man, Elephant Man, Pampity and a couple others,
Is that a collaboration? Yeah. Is that a collaboration? Yes. Or okay.
Yeah, so it's a collaboration of 13 artists on it, right? 13. It's Snoop Dogg, Beenie Man, Elephant Man, Vanessa Bling, Kraft, Chanel Muir, Tifa, oh my, Pampite, Steffel Dan, and another massive artist on it, international artist. So it's a major collab. When I reached out to Tony Kelly and I said, I want to do it. And, he gave me the blessing and I redid the beats and it's gonna drop soon. So like for me,
Amazing. So
yeah. Mhm.
we're looking forward to that massive collaboration flavor. But one thing I want to ask you though, like I know the energy that you had when you got the bug rhythm and you remade it and you call it the insect. Did you feel like you would have gotten a major hit from that rhythm? And how do you feel about just how the project went overall?
So all right. I could have got a major hit from the insect rhythm. The Buju Banton, This Is Jamaica, could have been a major hit if Buju Banton and his team support the record. Because the dancing video that I produced, Being a Genius, Coming Up Calm, contact Arville and Christian say, hey, let's create a dance for this. And when we create a dance, it went viral, Shade Room, all the international platform.
It was fresh.
Yeah, it was fresh. So all the international platform run the record. And I reached out to Buju Banton management team and I said, yo, Buju's going to be in New York. This record is viral. Let's fly both our the dancers to New York. I'll pay for it so they can dance to the record and Buju can perform it. And Buju team told me they're not interested in that. All they're interested in is just collecting money from Buju show. That's what they told me. Yeah, and I contacted Buju and I said, Buju, you know what? I need to get this record post on your profile, and because it's his team who handle his social handles, they refuse to post it, saying that how they have to probably go to DJ Khaled or they have to go through such and such and such and such. I was like, okay, fine, but when I contacted Buju and I was like, yo, this record is viral. The record have over like 2 million streaming, right? And how many record Buju drop these days? Gonna get 2 million streaming the first week. And Buju posted, and I respect him for that to post it. But the support that the record should have gotten from the artist and his team, it didn't got it. So the record even got picked up by BT and MTV, and stuff like that. So like if they're gonna showcase something about Buju, they actually use This Is Jamaica. And as I said to you, this is one of the reasons why working with reggae artists, I have nightmare. I sleep on it. I think about it if I'm really going to do it, and I select the very few that I'm going to do business with. I'm very selected.
But in general though, flavor, like the business itself is kind of rugged and rough, whichever industry you're in. So there are certain things that you won't, you can't avoid, like it will happen. Is that something that you're also prepared for as it relates to, I know you said that you're working with a lot of dancehall entertainers, but the mindset and the thinking is that, dancehall is a little more gritty in comparison to reggae. So are you prepared if it is a similar outcome with the dancehall entertainers? And does that mean if you're burnt by dancehall entertainers, for example, means say you go hang up your producer cap?
So as I said to you, I choose the ones then that I know are open to and understand. And as a producer who have experience, like right now, I'm producing Beenie Man new album, which is going to be one of the greatest album that going to be released out of our culture. And this record is not going to release as the primary genre, dancehall or reggae. It's going to be released as hip hop and then subgenre reggae, and that's going to be a great album. And for me to really want to produce a reggae or album today with a dancehall artist, that speak volume. And I choose Beenie, and the album is going to be great. And because Beenie to me, if I called Beenie and I said, Beenie, I need you in Florida to shoot a video for a record, he's going to be there. Just like now, I'm going to drop Beenie have a new record coming out that's got called Immortal. That record is going to blow the place up. And I said, Beenie, I called him in Christmas. I said, Beenie, I finished mix the record. I need you in Florida. And he was on tour and he called me and he said, I will be there. And with that approach, and for Beenie, who have been dominating reggae and dancehall for so many years, and he's still hungry and he's still hoping and willing to learn the music business today and to adapt. It speaks volume that he was said, I'm ready. Set the date and the time, and I'm ready. And if I said, Beanie, okay, we're going to do 50 state radio promotion, he said, I'm ready.
Yeah, I totally get where you're coming from, Flavor. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just
Yes,
we'll continue.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Yes, I can
okay,
hear
great.
you.
So you're looking also for a level of professionalism from these entertainers, nonetheless. But you know, the other day I see Silk Boss posted something, right? And he said many producers only show interest once an artist gains attention and then expect them to work for free. How do you respond to claims that producers only invest in artists once they start getting that popularity? And what do you believe is actually fair compensation for emerging talent?
Like for me personally, I support the artists and saying that because, as I said to you, a lot of producer in Jamaica, they just produce the record and expect for it to be sticked and don't want to promote it. And sometimes these artists, they're the one who go out into the street in the night and, you know, and beg selector, beg DJs to play these records. And when they becomes a hit, sometimes the producer is the one who want to benefit from the record. And I believe that if an artist put in all those work and the record earn money, it should be split equal between the producer and the artist because, you know, he contribute to it. He's the one who made the record popular. I don't believe that a producer should take all the money from that record, you know. So that is my take on that. Producer should promote a record. If you don't have the money, you have to stay away from the music business because the music business requires money. It does. I'm not going to say that sometimes you can, you know, you don't have money and you produce a record and it will hit. But, you know, what are the odds for that to happen? Like today, it takes marketing and promotion for a record to break, even though it's social media. We cannot just depend on social media. So I believe that producers should promote the record. And if the artist is the one who pushed the record for it to be a hit, then it should be equally shared.
No, absolutely. I totally get that. No, Flavor, we are on the button, but I could not have you here without talking about your humanitarian efforts. You know, your relief efforts after Hurricane Melissa were absolutely massive. What actually inspired you to act so quickly?
Just like what I said to you earlier on before. Like after producing over 10,000 records and got no thank you, no support or anything, I migrate to the US and, you know, go through some very tough hard times. And I remember in 2020, I was actually in the food line here, like, you know, literally walking distance from where my studio, this building that I'm in, I used to stand in a line around the corner begging for food in 2020, right? And you know, God bless me. And, you know, and I just feel that, you know, with, you know, the blessing from God. And, you know, when I saw what happened in Jamaica, you know, I feel like, you know, it's a mission for me, you know, to do, because when I was down, you know, persons donate to this food bank so where I can get help. And now I see my country, you know, is in a situation where it's bad. And I said, you know what, I have to play my part. And I just, you know, take up my backpack and just start going to the stores and just purchase all these products. And I said, I have to get it to Jamaica. And I charter a flight and I bring it to Jamaica. And I said to myself, I saw a lot of images online, how other persons was helping, and I didn't like the way they were doing it because these people are actually going through so much. And I was like, when I go to Jamaica, I want to ensure that there's a proper line, the form, and my team should like treat these people with respect, ensure that they more comfort them, don't yell at them and something like that. So for me, it was like a mission. It was a mission and it was painful, and I was like, okay, I love Jamaica. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for Jamaica and the people of Jamaica, I would not, sit here today, so proud, a proud Jamaican in America that is very successful. So at least, I'm just proud that I could help. You know, despite of all, what I've go through in the industry, I still love Jamaica, and I still know that there's good people in Jamaica. So and I will always contribute where I can.
I love that level of honesty, flavor. Like that's something that we would not have known, that, times were so tough that, you had to go in line for food and that kind of thing. So when Melissa hit Jamaica, you were in a position to give, and that we saw you did that,
Yes.
And I really wanted to highlight that without even knowing like that backstory was what actually led you to do that. So that's really amazing. You said so much about dancehall, reggae in particular, just the industry, based on the position that you are in now, having working with a lot of international artists, having been burnt by so many reggae entertainers. How do you feel about the music industry? I know you kind of hinted that it is dying, but in your expert opinion, what can be done to save the culture?
So what can be done to save the culture? It's going to take the Jamaica government to actually mandate our music to be played on our radio station, not just depend on IRIE FM alone, who play reggae music 24 hours a day. But I believe that every station in Jamaica, it should be mandate that most of the music that plays in Jamaica should be reggae and dancehall, just like the rest of the Caribbean country, like Trinidad, etc. It is mandate that soca music play there because they want to keep their culture alive, right? And why is it our Jamaican government, Babsy and all of them, don't mandate that reggae and dancehall music should be played in Jamaica? So it start from right there. And our copyright law in Jamaica need to amend to protect writers and composers and creators of music. You understand? When these politicians use our music on their campaign, artists should be compensated properly. The reggae and dancehall artists and musicians, we need to get back to our roots. We need to start making good music. Where's the Richard Spice? Where's the Iwayne? Where's the Queen Ifrica? Where are the artists then? Where's the Capitan? Where's the Sizzler? Where are they? It's like they need to get back into making good music. They need to stop think about what the young artist is doing and start making good music. Also, our artists, them like the Bounty Killer, the Beenie Man, all them, they need to go back into the studio, start making record. We as a veteran producer and upcoming producer, we need to start up dialogue. We need to start some union, something in Jamaica to preserve reggae music and to let the younger generation know that you guys are killing our culture. We're killing what Bob Marley them fight for. We're killing what Peter Touch fight for. We're killing what Dennis Brown, Gregory Isaac. We're killing about what Joe Hicks fight for. The Bounty Killer, what they fight for. What Sizzler fight for. What the Beanie fight for. What King Yellowman fight for. All these great people. They make sacrifice together. Once upon a time, reggae music couldn't play on radio station in Jamaica. And for these people to fight for us, why are we turning away from our culture and adopting America lifestyle? Because America don't have any culture, but we're adopting that and we're putting it into our music. So we, as Jamaican artists and producer, we need to start having dialogue and try to figure out how we can work together and just be honest about it. Where we are today versus 20 years ago. Yes, the music do evolve. Hip-hop evolve. Pop music evolve, but it still have its identity. Dancehall and reggae have no roots. We don't have that anymore. So we can save reggae, but it's going to take our government to mandate it. So if it plays, more artists will earn royalties. We will have more talent. We will have artists no longer have to depend on TikTok for a record to break for them. You understand me? Because there's millions of tourists come to Jamaica. And if our radio stations start playing more reggae, more dancehall, what do you think is going to happen? We're going to hear more talent. You understand me? So that is just my take on it. Dancehall, reggae music, dead. 0.0 sales.
No, Flavor, two final questions before we go. You're talking, two final questions for a young producer who is listening. Based on your experience and everything, what advice would you give to them, especially hearing, some of the darkness that is a part of the industry? What would you say to a young producer on his road to success?
What I would say to a young producer, be honest with the artist that you work with, especially if you have more experience. Be honest with him, be open to him, like show him, teach him to say, hey, if we make a record, we jointly own the copyright. I create the music, I own the musical composition. You write the lyrics, you own the copyright for the lyrics. So we jointly own this record for life. So whatever we do is a collected effort for both of us. This is both of us legacy. So what I would say to a upcoming producer, be consistent, be honest, and just continue to work. Even when you feel like it's not going to happen, just continue. But you have to be honest with the people who's going to help you to be successful.
And finally, Flava, what is success to you? Or what does success means to you? Or how you define success?
My success is my contribution to reggae and dancehall, and my contribution to the multiple genres of music that I produce around the world, coming from Augustown, Goldsmith Villa, Kingston 7. It's like literally a place of hell where there's no opportunity there. And looking back where I come from and my contribution to the music industry, not only in Jamaica but worldwide, in America, around the world. And long after I gone, I know my name will still call. So for me, that is success.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Kemar Flava McGregor, thank you so much. This was absolutely amazing. Now, one next question I pop up in my head in a Flava. For the people, the entertainers who wronged you, are you open to making amends, or it gone too far now? You're over it?
No, as I said to you, I'm mature. I'm mature now. Mm-hmm. And despite of what they, how they are, and I realize now that that most people in Jamaica, most of us, cannot show love because we never get love. I learned that when I become an adult, that I'm looking for love from people who don't know how to show love, and I think learning that, if any of those artists, should reach out to me, maybe, even though I said I would never work with them again, you just never know. Because as I said to you, I don't have them up. I sleep comfortable at night, and I also forgive all of them. But even if we don't work again and they should reach out to me and we should have a talk, I will do that. I will do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I don't care, girl. Yeah, I don't.
Big man thing. Thank you so much, Kemar Flava McGregor. This is absolutely amazing. Thank you for making it happen. And our WhatsApp line is blowing up. People are reacting to this conversation. This one says, "Me love how Flava talk kish, me nah lie." And this person says, "KF, this is a great, great, great interview. Big up to Flava, Roots Reality, ADB Culture, IRIE. Kemar Flava McGregor, thank you so much. And we wish you all the best on your journey as it continues.
Thank you very much. I love you, Jamaica. Love you, everyone at IRIE FM. You guys started my career. So it's a pleasure to actually share my journey on IRIE FM. Peace.
It was worth the wait. Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye. All right.